You still skateboard, so I
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
that's
yeah, I
good.
do. I do, man. I just try to keep it, keep it a little bit more mellow now
Yeah, I was
because
gonna say,
bones
do you
break real easy when you get old. They don't
yeah.
bend anymore, they just snap.
Here we go. Hey, everybody, welcome on into this week's episode of the Big Access Podcast. And this week is a really cool episode because we're talking with one of our integration partners. We're talking with Mark Heinzman with Hanwha Vision. Mark, thanks a ton for taking the time to jump on with us today.
Absolutely. Excited to be here.
Well, it's really good to have you. And I got to say, the background that you've got behind you is so cool. A bunch of skateboards, a bunch of guitars. I mean, that's not your normal background that you see on like sales calls and whatnot, but I love it. It shows a little bit about who you are. And, I know a little bit about you, but I don't think our listeners do. But Mark, you used to be a professional skateboarder.
I did. I was a professional skateboarder. I turned pro in like 1990, let's see, 1988, actually, 1998. And I was pro for, I don't know, actively for probably like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting. I actually turned pro when I was in high school, a senior in high school.
Dude.
So I had won like the national amateur championships and then I turned
Oh,
pro. Yeah, yeah. So good times, man.
that's way cool. I know when we met at ISC a couple years ago, we were talking all about your Heinz skateboard.
Yeah.
It's like the Heinz ketchup, and yeah, dude, that was awesome. That's when I found out you were a professional skateboarder. I'm like, wait a second, what? That is way cool. And of course, we instantly started pulling up YouTube and watching a bunch of your old videos that were out there. It was cool.
Yeah, thanks, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah, fun stuff, Definitely an interesting time.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like you still skateboard. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah, I
good.
do. I do, man. I just try to keep it, keep it a little bit more mellow now
Yeah, I was
because
going to say,
bones break real easy when you get old. They don't
yeah.
bend anymore, they just snap.
Have you had any snapped bones lately?
Uh, I'm pretty sure I broke my shoulder before I moved down here to Florida about a year and a half, but I didn't go to the
Dude,
doctor.
Mark. That's crazy. What were you doing?
I'm feeling it now. Actually, I was on my skateboard just going around the driveway, moving stuff because I moved down to Florida recently, and
Oh man.
and there was a bunch of water on the driveway where I had emptied something and I didn't notice it, and I kind of slid into it a little too tight and just down.
So it wasn't even anything cool.
No, it wasn't anything
Oh,
cool at all, man. Not cool at
man.
all. But I've broken enough bones, so it's I broke my wrist and my ankle when I was like 34 and 35 skating.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, I gotta keep it cool on that skateboard, man.
Yeah, yeah. That's crazy. Keep it cool. Keep it easy. Stay healthy, Mark.
Yeah,
Stay
yeah. Stay
healthy.
in front of this and just work. It's definitely safer.
Yeah, dude. You've got a desk job now, okay?
Exactly, exactly.
So let's talk about how you did transition from that to selling security and selling Hanwha. How did that go about?
Man, so it's a long journey. I actually went from pro skateboarding to owning my own clothing company, my own brand of clothing that I
Oh,
that
sweet.
I did for probably 6-ish, 7-ish years. I built a brand and I eventually just kind of got burnt out doing it and walked away from skateboarding in general, like as far as business. And I basically got into security. I've always been like on computers my entire life. When I was like 8 years old, I had a Radio Shack TRS 80.
Oh,
And I was like 8 years old writing code on that thing. And then I had like
no
every
kidding.
every computer since then. Yeah. So Commodore 64, the old Apples, the 8088, IBM, all that stuff, 386, 486, Pentium, blah, blah, blah. So I've been doing this my whole life. And really most of my background is technical. Um, I got into the industry at a company. I was from Ohio. So I worked for a company in Ohio called Matrix Systems. And I worked there for probably 16, 17 years doing access control, but mostly in technical roles. So,
Dude,
yeah.
that's pretty cool. So, how long have you been with Hanwha now?
So I've been with Hanwha a year, or I'm sorry, a little over 2 years now, 2.5 years almost.
And what is your official title and role there?
So I'm the technology partnership manager for North America on the business development side. So they actually reached out to me, 2.5-ish years, actually longer than that. It's been probably 3.5 years because it took a while to actually for the role to come up and for me to actually get the role. So I actually wrote the business plan for how we were going to handle the partnerships, things like that, and really came in and organized the program for them. So that's really, been my first focus was just to organize a program, how we work with our partners, and really my goal in life is to partner with people and build to truly build business with people and have strong partnerships. So I've worked in the industry a long time, and it's not really an industry I'd say that has lent itself to partnerships in this manner until probably fairly recently. I started in the security industry in '98, so I've been in
Yeah.
the industry a while, and it seems like now this industry a lot more companies are partnering with other companies and really going out and trying to find opportunities together, because I think people really realize the strength of the partnerships.
I
And really, I
agree.
think it means a lot to the end user to know that you have a strong partnership, because they know they're always going to get good support, when we're working together like this.
Well, ultimately, I think you run into the situation where you've got these companies who try to do everything, and ultimately they can't put all their eggs in one basket, so they end up doing everything okay. And then you've got other companies like PDK and like Hanwha who we specialize, right? We are very good at access control. In my opinion, we're the best at it. You guys are fantastic at cameras. And so why not keep going down that route and make what you're talking about, a good partnership where we work together to really create that best experience possible?
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, I truly believe in, when we partner as companies, technology partnerships, we create better solutions together. Because like you said, it's like we can do everything all right,
Mm-hmm.
and that doesn't last really, because I've been at companies where, in '98, we were doing access control. That's a whole nother world, 20 some years later.
Oh, yeah.
We used to do like all the ID management, credential management, operations, kind of pseudo intrusion. We did everything. But then companies who come in and just, I think from the changing needs for the end users, they require a lot more now out of each kind of, part of this solution, right? So like if you take credentialing, for example, sure, we can make badges, we can encode them, we can print them, we can do all that, and then eventually you'll have somewhere like maybe you step into like a major airport and they're like, well, for us to credential now, we have to run this against databases like, the TSA clearinghouse and things like that to, approve these things. And it just getting more and more complicated each thing. So I think that's where you see companies start springing up into different, facets of it. And so I think that's kind of the need for the partnership, really.
Yeah, no, you're spot on there, and I couldn't agree with you more there. So let's talk a little bit about who Hanwha is. I know we've got a bunch of listeners who install PDK out there, but they might be looking to have a really great experience with a VMS that works with PDK. So what kind of is the big differentiator that you guys feature out there?
Well, I think with Hanwha, ultimately, I think our main strong point is our hardware, and it is our cameras, and we have such a big portfolio of cameras. There's hundreds of models, to fit into the right solution. So, that I think it starts with the hardware. It's bulletproof. The pictures, I mean, they're incredible. And then, we've done a really good job with AI and getting AI on board our cameras, in terms of things like object detection and all the basic kind of stuff that you need. But I think, that's where a lot of this stuff's going, like, detecting a person, detecting a car, and not throwing alarms all the time
Mm-hmm.
on, things moving, like if you're trying to do like intrusion or something on a perimeter, knowing it's a person and not an animal, things like that. So we've done very good with getting AI on our cameras. The AI is really strong. The different form factors are really strong, multi sensors, dual sensors, four sensors. We've got what we refer to as like the UFO. I don't know if you've seen that before, but it's like, you've got like 4 sensors on top and then PTZ on the bottom,
Yeah.
which is a really interesting solution. But so I think ultimately the hardware is very strong. Our NVRs, things like that, and then our VMS Wave has really taken off, and we've done very well with that. It's great to be able to have that software to actually manage our cameras as well, because then we can really create a strong experience within the VMS with our cameras. Having more control over kind of what we can do in terms of how they work within the VMS. So, I'd say we're starting to get into some other things like we've got the Wave VMS, which is really an on-prem solution, and then we've also got WiseNet Sky, which is a cloud solution. So starting to get into those, but kind of staying close to what we do, cameras.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's awesome. And you guys, you nailed it right on the head, right? You guys have fantastic hardware, and you pair that with a great software like WiseNet, Wave, and Sky, and you're going to have a great experience there. And then one of the cool things with that software is that you can actually synchronize that with the PDK database to be able to do a bunch of different things on your software, to be able to manage your access control system, because you can actually pull a web browser directly into Wave, right? And so you can pull PDK.io right in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could do it right within the application. We just have a separate window for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's actually the same window. You just click on a different section and bring it right up. So yeah, you can do that. And it's it really gets down to like the core of what you need in terms of like access control and video as an integration. PDK is sending us over access control events.
Yep.
We're getting those things bookmarked within our VMS, and then we can quickly find transactions at doors to be able to see where people are at, or or any kind of alarm for that matter. So yeah, I mean it's great. The integration is essentially doing what most integrations do, just associating video with like key events within the system so you can go and see these things happen quickly.
Yeah, I agree. And the other cool thing that I really like too is the ability to perform soft triggers from your software as well, right? You can actually unlock those doors on the PDK system directly from your software too, right? It doesn't mean that you have to go into the web browser that you have in Wave. You can just add a soft trigger icon that can control a door. That's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point about within you can look at the PDK application right within Wave as a web browser, and it works good. You're going to pick up a tiny bit of latency, but not a lot. It works very well. So like you said, I mean, essentially from that one pane of glass, you can really do pretty much anything between the two systems, but we make it, really easy in the terms where, you're getting those events over to us in our alarm queue, and we're able to act on them and do things like soft triggers, like you had mentioned. And there's a lot of things we can do. We can create alarms from these events, and we can start, pushing video to monitors, upon these alarms. So it's a pretty powerful integration.
I mean, ultimately what it's doing is creating that smart security solution that a customer wants, right? They want a turnkey solution where everything works together and that they can count on.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And then going back to my point earlier about the partnerships, the first thing is we create better solutions together. But the second thing, and I think is really important, because I've done a lot of support in my life in this industry, it's not having finger pointing, right? Like, we know that PDK and Hanwha are tight. We work together well, and that we're always going to be there to support them.
Absolutely. And vice versa. We want to be here to support you guys with everything as well. So, yeah, very cool partnership. We absolutely love all of the relationships that we've been able to build, and ultimately where everything's been going with Hanwha. So, thank you to everybody over there at Hanwha.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it as well, man. It's been great working with PDK. I've been working with you guys for well over a couple of years now, and it's definitely been a great relationship, and I've always thought very highly of the PDK solution and what you guys are doing over there. It's very forward thinking, and I truly believe that you guys are going, and kind of the trends that you guys are going to are going to be a lot of the trends that other people will most likely follow.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the kind words there. We're just about out of time on this week's episode, but if somebody's wanting to learn more about Hanwha, how do they go about getting in touch with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, they can just jump on our website, and there's, contact us information on the website. So, jump on the website and just go under the contact, and you can find, you get an email over to our inside sales, and we'll get right back to you. We are eventually soon going to have a nice little technology partner section on our website that's going to have all the partners listed by technology, and you'll be able to search for the various partners. So that'll be up there. Probably we're shooting for January of 24, so that'll be available as well pretty soon.
Sweet. That's awesome. You can also go out to ProdataKey.com, and if you go to our integrations page, you'll see Hanwha listed there. Go ahead and click on that, and that's going to give you more information as well. So if you are looking to learn a little bit more about Hanwha and this fantastic partnership that we have with them, definitely go out there and check that out. But that is all the time that we've got on this week's episode. Thanks a ton, Mark. Really appreciate you jumping on today and giving all your inputs. It's been a riot.
Awesome, man. Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on.
You bet. For those of you who have not already done so, be sure to subscribe to this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, and also let us know if there's anything in particular that you're looking to learn. That's it for this week. We'll see you later.